Hello friends! In today's lesson, we will try to correct small mistakes and inaccuracies in proportions that we might have made during the whole work. Yes, you may think this video is not as interactive and exciting as the previous, or maybe the next ones, but I assure you it is better to stop now at this stage and fix small inaccuracies rather than leave them for later. So be patient, and let's get started. So friends, today we will focus on correcting proportions, since we do have some small inaccuracies in the drawing, and today we will try to fix them. Let's start from the left and gradually move right, then down, and correct mistakes in the eyes, nose, and so on. Let's look at our photo and try to find the mistakes we can fix. For example, I see that the left eye in shape is a little not what it should be. We will arm ourselves with an eraser, a kneaded eraser, and try to fix it. So, I'll take probably an HB pencil. And the first thing we see is that the shape of the eye here is not quite right. It should be slightly turned. I think like this. Maybe even more. Yes. The first nuance. Next, the lower eyelid of the left eye should be a bit closer to the pupil. Because of this, the shape of the eye itself changes. So we'll add it a little here. What else do we see? The shape of the upper eyelid is too sharp. It should go slightly rounded. Let's erase it a little. Carefully. And also slightly erase the upper eyelid. And try to redraw it more accurately, probably with an HB pencil. And here it will also curve slightly. Like this, not sharp. I think this will be more accurate. Next, I'll take the HB pencil. And here I'll add what we erased. Next, add shadow that was lost. And here the shadow will also go differently. Let's remove it too. Let's see how the upper eyelid goes. The upper eyelid is also drawn a little too close to the eye. And let's try to draw it more accurately. I'll take a 2B pencil. Looking at the photo. Here. Up to here it will go. Like this. Maybe even further, up to here. And then it will go down. So, again a little inaccurate. Let's correct it more. I think first, we need to finish drawing the eye completely. Here, shadow is missing. And I think also this part is a little inaccurate. We need to make it wider. I'll take the kneaded eraser and try to remove it. Or with a regular eraser. Now let's add eyelashes, a little more. The eye too. I think now the shape is more correct. I constantly look at the photo, draw again, and see the differences. What is missing? I think here. The eye looks too open, while in the photo it is a little covered by the eyelid. So here we need to make it darker. It stands out too much. What else do we see? Here we need to add more shadow, because in the photo it's not so light. So we'll add tone here. And we can also make the pupil a little darker. The pupil is actually smaller than we made it. I think we need to make it smaller. Too wide. Because of this, the gaze changes. Here we need to lighten a little. And under the eyelid, on the contrary, darken. Here, too, add a bit of shadow. And here we also add so it doesn't stand out too much. Next, I think the highlight can be made a little higher. And this highlight also lifted a little higher. What else do we see? I think the eye itself is a bit wide. So what can we do? I think we can lengthen it a little. I even drew it not very correctly here. I think we can correct it again. Let's try like this. Looks more accurate. I see what else we can correct. Maybe here, raise it a little. Make it closer to the pupil. Now add shadow inside the eye, where the sclera is. And here too, restore the shadow that was here. Next, I think we can slightly strengthen the shadow here because it is too light. And here make it a little darker. And here too add shadow. Make the drawing more contrast. What else do I see? Here shadow is missing. And this line of the upper eyelid also needs to be made more precise. I think it will go like this. Yes, I think so. Here we add again the line and add shadow that we erased. I'll take an HB pencil. Add more, make it darker. And a bit darker again. The shape of the eye got a little lost. Let's draw it clearer. Make it rounder And here too we have. In the photo, the iris is wider. Probably like this. Here too darker. What else looks off? Let's see. The nose shape. Actually, the brows of the nose, it looks like she is frowning in our drawing. In fact, it's because the brow is drawn too low over the eye. That's why. In fact, it should go... Let's see. Here, the arc is much smaller. Like this, maybe. Let me check with the photo. Yes. And here it should be a little higher. So we erase this now. And here too, the nose shape is a bit wrong. I made the angle too sharp. Let's erase it for now. Try to draw it more accurately. So, looking, here it's a bit straighter. The angle is there, but not so sharp. Like this. Then this nose line goes into the brow. We check the distance. I think this looks more accurate. We made it too dark here. Looking further, what else can we fix? The brow shape. I think here we also need to erase a bit. Maybe it was even right before. Looks like here the shape is correct. Let's return the shadow. Seems correct, if my eyes are not mistaken. And here the distance between brow and eyelid should be narrower than here. For now it's the same. So here it should be like this. And the distance from here to here will be a bit wider than here. So let's leave it. Now let's return the tone. I'll take HB. I have the feeling that the eye here should be a bit lower. This distance should be wider. Probably we made the iris too wide. Let's make it narrower. And the pupil itself also will be smaller. And the highlights will probably shift slightly to the right. We return here what we erased. And draw the eyelashes here. This lash goes at a slightly more straight angle. Here it's darker, and here thinner. Make it longer. Further, it is not visible. These lashes will be less distinct, more in shadow. So add a bit of shadow here. Here, a bit more shadow. Now let's restore the brow. I think this will be the correct shape. Here, add a bit of shadow. Under the brow too, it will be darker. I think we can use a blending tool to make it smoother. Let's add tone here. Here will be strong shadow. Here too, darker. And here as well. And with blending, we make smoother transitions. Here we can also add shadow, stretch it a little. And here the line is too sharp. We can blend it. I think we can also add shadow here on the nose. And here too the shadow was lost. We restore it. Here we can slightly strengthen shadow. And make a smoother transition here. Add a little more tone here. And make the brow itself a bit darker in these spots. Here too it will be a bit darker. The lower lashes here we can darken a bit. Even though they are not very visible, they are slightly blurred. Here too the light is not so distinct. So, I think for now we can leave the left eye and move on to drawing other areas. Next, what else do we see? I see inaccuracies in the right eye, like the highlight is too big. We can make it smaller. What else do I see? We can darken here, make it smoother, a little here. But the main inaccuracy is the eye shape. Because we made a bump here, but in the photo it isn't there. So the eye looks in the wrong direction. So let's correct it. I'll erase here, carefully, like this. I'll take HB. What else? The eyelashes came out too thick at the base. So let's remove them a little with an eraser. Let's draw them more accurately. I'll take 2B for now. Let's see. Here at the base, it will be very dark. Here it will go like this. Here it will definitely be denser, but here we added too much. We need to make the transition smoother. And here it should be a little lighter. Just a bit. What other inaccuracies?
Я думаю, что вот это не
I
совсем
think this line is not as round as we
мы
drew.
нарисовали. Вот это
This
длинное.
line.
Давайте
Let's erase
уберем,
it for now.
и попробуем
And try to
нарисовать
draw it more
самые
accurately
более точные
in
соотношения
relation to the
с
eyelashes.
ресницами. Есть
Feels
ощущение,
like the
что
tilt of the eye
наклон
is a
глаза
bit
немножко
wrong.
неправильный. Еще мне
Also,
кажется, что
I
вот
think here
здесь, вот здесь должно быть
the
чуть
curve should
пораньше
start
заглянуть.
earlier,
Из-за того, что мы его нарисовали таким, здесь
because
угол
we
мы
made the
сделали таким
corner
более
too sharp,
острым. Кажется, что
the eye looks the
глаз не
wrong
совсем
shape.
правильной формы. И вот здесь мы
And
чуть-чуть
here we'll draw an eyelash.
дорисуем ресницу.
Here we
Здесь мы
add shadow
добавим тень, и здесь
and
немного
blend a little.
растушуем. Теперь давайте
Now let's
сделаем,
restore shadow
тень
here,
здесь, где
where
мы
we corrected,
исправляли.
and above too.
Возможно, что даже
Maybe
еще
it even goes a bit
чуть
higher.
И
And
добавим
add shadow
тень
inside.
внутри. Также
Here
здесь
too we can strengthen
тень.
the shadow.
Вот здесь мы чуть-чуть
Here make
повыше
lashes
сделаем
denser.
волосы. Ресницы точнее. Здесь мы
Here we still
но
add,
не
but
так
not as
сильно,
much as
как вот это
before.
бывает. Есть
There is
затемнение
shadow
здесь,
behind the
но
lashes,
то, что
but
они
because we
затемнены, такое ощущение,
over-darkened,
что они
they look
будут
triangular.
треугольными. На самом деле они
Actually, they
должны
should be
быть
thinner.
потоньше. Вот эту ресницу
This
мы
lash
сделаем
can be longer,
подлиннее, потоньше,
thinner with a sharp
острым
pencil.
карандашом.
And this one will make brighter,
Точно, точно.
thicker,
На
with a
конце
thinner
будет
end.
более тонкую.
Here we'll
Чуть-чуть
remove a
уберем.
little,
Из-за того, что, опять же,
because
перед одним
again it
кажется,
looks
что она
triangular.
какая-то треугольная.
We
Очень
must look
внимательно
carefully
смотреть
at the photo
фотографию,
to not
чтобы
make
не
mistakes.
ошибиться.
Here, make it
Здесь
darker.
сделаем. Вот эта
This
ресница
lash also
тоже
came out
сильно
too
толсто
thick.
получилась. Здесь тоже
Here
можно
too we can make the
сделать
lashes brighter
ресницы и сделать их более
and rounder.
скругленными. Я
I
думаю,
think
что,
here we can
здесь
also
можно
add shadow
добавить тень
on the
на
iris.
макушке.
And in this
Эта
part
часть
too,
тоже
it will be
будет темнее.
darker.
Вот эти все
All
мелкие
these
детали,
small
которые мы
details that we
рисуем,
now
вроде бы
refine,
не такие
they may
значимые,
seem
но
not
чем больше мы
important,
детализируем наш рисунок,
but the
чем больше
more we
мы
detail our
уделяем
drawing,
деталей,
the more realistic
уделяем внимание деталям, тем более
and more like the
фотографичным,
photo
более
it
похожим у
becomes.
нас получается рисунок. Естественно,
Of
сделать
course, to make it
фотографию
exactly like a photo
деталей
is
сложно,
extremely
но
hard,
постараться
but we can
не
still
сложнее.
try.
Я
I
думаю,
think
что
here
здесь
we can add more shadow above the eye.
И давайте пока что
And for
оставим
now, let's leave this eye at this stage.
на такой стадии. Я думаю,
I think
в целом
overall it looks
очень
very
даже
similar.
похоже. И
And
давайте
let's move on to the
дальше
mouth and
рта
nose.
и носа. Кстати
By
говоря,
the way,
нос,
the nose I
кажется,
think came out
всегда
quite
более
accurate.
точен. Тут, в
Nothing
принципе,
much
даже
to correct
исправлять
here.
нечего. Единственное,
The
что
only
мы
thing we can
можем
still
исправить,
adjust
это
is the
вот
lip.
угол. Вот
Here,
здесь, мне
I think
кажется,
it is too rounded.
сильно закруглена. Вот здесь
Here,
мы
I
только
think we can make the
чуть-чуть
corner a bit
заострили
sharper.
угол. Вроде бы ничего
Doesn't look
такого
like a
не
big
изменилось,
change,
но
but the shape shifts a
немножечко
little.
что-то изменилось.
And
Также
also,
вот здесь
here,
вот
this
это
bump
вот
doesn't
проходит.
exist.
Вот здесь вот
Here
мы
in the
можем
corner, we can
чуть-чуть
also
убрать
remove a little extra.
лишнее. И вот здесь
And
снизу
here below
тоже
too,
можно
we can remove
немножечко
slightly.
убрать. Чтобы вот здесь
Here, we can make a
тоже
smoother
более
transition.
плавный переход.
The nostril looks a bit wider.
И вот
And here
здесь
too,
тоже чуть-чуть.
we'll draw a little.
Я думаю, на
I
данном
think at
этапе
this
мы
stage
можем
we can
остановиться.
stop.
В принципе, основные
The main
основные
mistakes we
ошибки
corrected.
мы исправили. Всё равно
Of
какие-то
course, some
мелкие
small
какие-то
inaccuracies will
остались,
remain,
но это
but this won't
не
prevent us
помешает нам
from
узнать
recognizing
человека,
the person we are
которого мы
drawing.
рисуем. Если
Even
мы
if we
ставим
leave them, it
новичок,
will
всё
still
равно
be
будет
recognizable.
Ну
Well,
что, друзья,
friends,
я вас
congratulations!
поздравляю. Наконец-то у нас
Finally, we
получится
have
тщательно
carefully worked out
проработанные
proportions.
пропорции.
We have
У нас
eyes,
есть глаза,
nose, and
нос и
mouth.
рот, и это
And these are the elements
элементы,
responsible
которые
for
отвечают за
recognizability,
узнаваемость, за
for
передачу
conveying mood,
настроения,
for
за
expressing
передачу
emotion.
эмоций. В следующих
In the
уроках
following
мы уже
lessons,
сосредоточимся на
we will
менее
focus on
значимых
less important elements.
элементах. Это тон
That is
кожи,
skin tone,
это
hair
детализация
details.
волос, но они
But
не
they
так
don't
сильно
affect
влияют на
recognition as strongly
узнаваемость и
and
на
realism.
фотографичность. Поэтому я
So I
вам
wish you
желаю
a good
хорошего
mood
настроения и
and see you in
увидимся
the
в
next
следующих уроках.
lessons.